Watercolor Art Therapy for Mental Health. Disclaimer. The therapeutic power of watercolors, verbally talking about emotions, can be difficult. Watercolor can calm your mind and reduce stress. Take your focus on what is bothering you and put it on paper. Georgia O'Keeffe said it best. I found I could say things with color and shapes that I couldn't say any other way. Things I had no words for. Setting up your watercolor wellness space. You want it to be comfortable. You want good lighting because you want to see. And you want no distractions. Let's talk about your supplies. Work within your budget. Cold pressed watercolor paper, that's what I recommend. A number 2 and or a number 6 round brush. And watercolor paint, your choice of colors. I usually use pan paints. You want rinse water cups and paper towels or a cloth. Optional items, pencil and eraser, white gel pens, or black micro pens. Simple watercolor exercises. There's wet on dry, layering, gradient, and lines. The wet on wet is basically you wet your paper with clean water and put wet pigment on it. Wet on dry is you take your wet paint onto dry paper. Layering is simply layering color over dry color. A gradient is going from a darker value to a lighter value, and that is using water to as you to the pigment to your brush within each one, and lines is just making lines with your the tip of your brush. I do have videos on these techniques, and also if you go to colorfulcreativewatercolors.com, I also have blog posts about these watercolor techniques that you can check that out. Other exercises you can do is create shapes and use your micro liners to add doodles. I love doodling. These are just so much fun to do. As we see up there in the top one, going around the circle, going around to the rectangle, I should say. The top purple one there, I just made some trees, making some circles with the purples. Then use my micro liner to just doodle around them. Then there's the flowers. Then there's the orange and yellow and pink squares and rectangles and just some doodles in there. And then the greens and blues, just different shapes and doodling in there. Then I actually take those doodles and I made patterns out of those, to which I uploaded to Etsy, made patterns out of those in Etsy, in Canva, and then uploaded those patterns and made stationery, which I uploaded to sell on Etsy. So how much fun is that? Let's overcome some challenges in watercolor. So watercolor isn't about perfection. Challenge yourself and put perfection aside. Enjoy the process. Uh, you don't need to worry about being perfect with watercolors. You need to put that aside. If you say, oh, I'm not good enough to watercolor, yes, you are. Everybody is good enough to watercolor. Just get some watercolor, some paper, some brushes, and just sit down, make some shapes. Everybody can make shapes. Everybody can paint shapes. And I'm sure at some point in your life you have sat there and you have doodled on paper. So make those shapes. Get a micron pen or a waterproof marker, and then doodle around those shapes. Once they're dry, doodle around those shapes, and I'll bet you would be surprised. The whole point is to be relaxed in the moment and just enjoy yourself. When I first started to learn watercolor, my instructor always made us take an oath before we started. It was, I promise to be kind to myself, I promise not to compare myself to others, and I promise to have fun. And I take that oath to this day. Her name is Sarah Cray at Let's Make Art. It's an online watercolor. You can check her out on YouTube. You can check her out on Facebook. You can check her out on online. Just go here right on YouTube and type in "Let's Make Art." You can find some watercolor videos on there. That's where I first learned to watercolor, and I highly recommend her. She's so much fun. So make watercolor art therapy a part of your self-care routine. You need to take care of you. Nobody else is going to do it. But yes, watercolor art therapy. I love watercolor, and you just need to do it. Take care of you. So that's really all I have for you on this subject. So visit me at colorfulcreativewatercolors.com, and I will have some links down below with some freebies for you, some other links to follow. You can watercolor live with me on Mondays. But hey, thanks for watching. Stay colorful, stay creative, and have fun. Okay, bye-bye.